prepare the cut contour line so that these graphics can be cut out on the vinyl cutter. If you're not here yet, that's okay. I'm going to record this. So if I select everything here, if I simply just try to go up to Object, Path, Offset Path, what's going to happen, it's going to create an offset path on every single element that I've selected. That's not what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and say Cancel. What we need to do is we need to make a copy of everything in our graphic. I'm just going to go ahead and drag this down to that plus there, so I have two versions. I'm going to turn off one of my versions just so I can tell that I only have one thing there. And with everything selected there, right? And you can see that down in my layers, I'm only selecting what's visible. If I turn off the layer, I can't select it, so you have to worry about doing that. I'm going to use the tool we've been using to make our holiday ornaments. We're going to use the Pathfinder here. So I click to unite this together. It makes one solid shape. And yes, that's boring, but that's okay. We do not need this graphic to be anything other than information for the computer to tell it where to cut. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create the color that the computer needs in order to figure out where to put its cutting blade. I'm going to go down to my swatches panel here and add a new swatch. And just so I can tell what it is, I'm going to pick some sort of, bright pink value. Because, I don't know, maybe your Christmas or holiday design has some bright pink in it, but I don't intend to use any. I'm going to name my swatch color here Cut Contour. With the British spelling, it has to be spelled exactly like that or it will not cut. The next thing we have to do is change the color type to spot color. So this is all just information that gets read by the printer. It's not information that's actually going to show up in your graphic. Don't worry about that. If it's a spot color named Cut Contour, our printer will not print this color. So it's just for reference. I say OK. With everything selected then, I'm going to go to Object, Path, and I'm going to go to Offset Path here. Say OK. Now I don't need a fill. What I do need is with this selected, I'm going to go and stroke this and add that cut contour line around the outset. Now, the other thing we need to be aware of is that I need this to be a very fine line. I don't want this to be a thick line or the printer is just going to keep going and cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting. We want this thing to be a hairline, as small as your settings will go. Right now mine's set to millimeters, so 0.1 millimeters is where that's going to go. Now I'm seeing some funkiness. I don't know why. Let's see what's going on down here. My line is seeming to have some gaps in it for some miraculous reason. That should not be happening. Aha. I had some stroke on this black shape. Now, I can go ahead and chuck that shape in the trash. I don't need it anymore. What I do need is that image that I created to begin with, right? And you're probably noticing that I've got this pink outline in the center of my image. If I leave it there, the vinyl cutter is going to cut out the void space here. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is just go in and quickly delete anytime it's trying to cut out some area in the center of my object. With everything complete there, all I'm going to do is grab everything I've got, hold Shift, shrink this thing down so it fits nice and neat on my canvas. And the last step, our vinyl printer requires that things are saved to PDF. They have to be saved as an Adobe PDF. So we're going to go to File, Save. And the most important thing here is that you save it as a PDF. Our printer will not be able to read anything else. It's also not a Mac, so you actually have to prepare this thing for Windows. So we need it to be saved as Adobe PDF. I'm going to call this Cameron Andrew, and then I'm going to name it my project, Wall Decoration, and I'm going to put that in my FTD folder. I might even, start a new thing for all these holiday projects, just to keep myself organized. There we go. That is how you prepare a graphic for our large vinyl printer.